Madam Chair and members of the committee, while proponents prefer to call it by various euphemisms, Senate Bills 157 and 320 seek to legalize a practice presently described in the Rhode Island Criminal Code as assisted suicide. Assisted suicide is neither medical aid nor palliative care. It is defined and prohibited under the Rhode Island Criminal Code as providing the physical means by which another person commits or attempts to commit suicide, or as participating in a physical act by which another person commits or attempts to commit suicide. Making this practice lawful would put your constituents, your friends, your family, and even yourselves at risk. It encourages people with years or decades to live to throw away their lives. Under the broad definition of terminal condition contained in these bills, eligible persons could include those with a variety of manageable chronic conditions such as diabetes, and progressive conditions common to many in their golden years, which, if left untreated, could result in an otherwise completely unnecessary, avoidable, and premature death. Moreover, doctors are often wrong when they predict terminal illness. Examples abound of people alive and active many years after they were given just months to live. Who can forget Mark Twain's quip, 13 years before his death, "Reports of my death are greatly exaggerated." It is a recipe for exploitation of senior citizens, even as elder abuse is already a growing problem in Rhode Island. While the bills provide that witnesses to the written request will attest that the individual appeared to be free from duress or undue influence at the time the request was signed, those words have narrow meaning, difficult to prove otherwise, providing no protection from family members or other interested parties suggesting, encouraging, or ceaselessly nagging the victim to the point of requesting suicide. No evaluation by a psychiatrist, psychologist, or social worker is required under these bills to screen for such abuse. Indeed, there is not even a requirement to consult with the primary care physician most familiar with the individual. Worse, the written request for the lethal drugs does not even need to be made in the presence of the physician. It could be signed in the person's residence and mailed in, with the two required witnesses being an abusive relative who would gain financially from the person's death, and the other person being the best friend of the abusive heir, and no one would ever know. A close look at the so-called safeguards in these bills reveals them to be completely illusory. Lastly, it creates a statutory framework for interested persons to lawfully commit the perfect crime. Under these bills, no independent witness is required at the time of death. Did the individual self-administer the lethal drug, or was it administered to them while they were sleeping? Was it taken willingly, or was there a struggle? Under this bill, nobody would ever know, or even ask, since the death certificate would be lawfully falsified to state natural causes. These are just a few very serious concerns with these bills. There are others. The Rhode Island State Right to Life Committee asks you to reject these dangerous bills. Thank you.